Hi, I'm Reb Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 43 years. I wanted to talk a little bit about using the lessons to help us wake up. So, if you don't know very much about awakening, let me just briefly say that I know when I started looking at that idea, it was a little scary because I thought if I wake up from the dream, that means I have to die. And that isn't true at all. There are lots and lots of people who are awakening right now, and they're still here and they're still um, participating in the story. So there's the only thing that happens when you wake up is that you don't suffer anymore. So that's a really good motivation, for doing this. And the Course talks about awakening. In fact, he mentions awakening um, 69 times that I counted in the Course, 69 times. It just doesn't talk about what happens after we awaken. It's there to bring us to that point. And then, as he tells us in the Course, when you're through with it, when you've gone through it, it's not the end. It's a beginning. So we're here to reach the beginning. So that for that reason, I was thinking this morning about the lessons. Now, I contemplated the lessons and I posted about them already for today. But yes, for today, and then for tomorrow as well. And I'm going to just mention one of the lessons for tomorrow because that's the one I was looking at when I had this thought. And that would be I think it is today's lesson. I'm upset because I see what is not there. Was the first one to look at. And when I was writing about it and what I shared about it had to do with very specific situations in my life right now. I'm upset because I see what is not there. Um, I'm looking at an illusion. It's not there. The world is not there. He tells us very clearly in the Course, an uncompromising statement. There is no world. So whenever I become upset about a specific situation, then I'm literally upset about nothing. And he does tell us whenever we're healing our mind, use specifics because that way the mind will accept the lesson, understand it, and recognize when it's been solved. Because if you don't know your problem's been solved, then it won't do you a lot of good. But there is another way to look at this. I'm upset because I see what is not there. I literally see what is not there. And that's upsetting because there is something there. Our mind holds that memory, and we know that something is wrong. We know that we are seeing something that isn't there. And why are we doing that? And how do we stop doing it? And then on the next one, he says, I see only the past. And again, in my contemplation, I used a very specific situation in which I was thinking about my flight here um, from Louisiana to Arizona and how it's very different now than it used to be. And talked about that. And so that's very helpful. It helps other people to understand it. It helps me to understand it. So, how's the other way to see this? Well, I see something, I'm seeing only the past. Jesus tells us in one sentence in the course, which I found very helpful, he says that we put an ancient memory before our eyes. An ancient memory. It's an ancient memory because at the beginning of the whole separation experience, it's like we asked a question. What would it be like if we were separate and special? And because our minds are powerful, they have the same power that God has, because it is the power of God in us. And so from that, I think about it as a Big Bang, not that a whole lot of planets were made, although that happened too, but every story, every possible experience of being separate and special occurred. So this is just all an ancient memory. That's all that we're doing. It's like we're remembering. We're remembering. We're remembering a story. I'm remembering a story of Myron. So I'm not actually living a story of Myron. I'm remembering a story of Myron. So this is how it is that I'm seeing only the past. This story happened, it never actually happened, but it occurred in an ancient past. So you see how you can use the course lessons in two ways. You can look at it as, first, let me see, how do I apply this to my life as I'm experiencing it right now? And that's very, very helpful. But then you can also look past that and say, how does this apply to my awakening? And I find this very helpful. And if you don't yet, if that doesn't resonate yet, that's okay. It will, because we all wake up. Everybody wakes up. Every single, seemingly separate self awakens. So my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. Like, how do I just, if I'm constantly going back to the past, bringing it forward, and thinking that I know something, I'm actually just continuing the past. Nothing is happening. I'm not waking up. I'm just reliving the past over and over. And in the specific form, my mind is preoccupied by past thoughts. Let's pretend that I have a family member or a friend. I have a friend who has a mental problem, but she's got over it, or he's got over it, and received help, and his mind now is clear. But every time I see him, I will that will come into my mind. This is a person who has a mental problem. And then I correct, well, okay, I think they're okay now. That was in the past. But you see how I keep bringing that person's past into the present so that I can't really see them. I can't see them as they are. I see them according to what I know about them from the past. So that's a way that we see it and use it in a very specific situation. But then my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts, because everything I see here is a past thought. It was a thought of what would it be like to be separate and special. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. Um, Even when someone is perhaps new in the course or has not yet considered that this is what we're doing, we're waking up, it helps just to be reminded, this is where I'm going. This is the direction I'm going in. And if you hear someone talk about it frequently, it starts to feel normal, accepted, even begin to look forward to it. So, okay, thanks, guys, for watching. I appreciate you. If you found this helpful, please like it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. And I'll be back soon with another reading. See you then.